Good evening, Drew.
There he is.
Oh.
Boy, our schedules have been rough, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're adults.
It's
What
that
are you
time
gonna
of
do?
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had completely forgot because
Mhm.
I had such a week. I had to go to well, I'll talk about where I had to go this week here in a little bit,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I forgot that we were babysitting the smallest member of the Krebs's clan, and
Yeah.
we were doing that Thursday night, and there was a lot of Baby Shark, there was a lot of Wheels on the Bus, there was a
Nice.
lot of things.
Nice. It's okay.
And I continue my proud tradition of just scaring children, unironically.
Oh
Just
no.
it's so fun because Mandy is so good with
Mhm.
kids. Like she's a teacher, but it just goes beyond that. Like she's just wonderful with children, and it's so nice to see her like be able to be with Ren, it's her name, and do everything. But then like when I show up, she just completely like clams up, and like maybe the look, maybe you don't, that a toddler just kind of gives you like,
Yeah,
you can
I've
go,
seen it.
right?
Yeah, I've
Like,
seen it. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can go.
Yeah.
I got a lot of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, how are you? What are you doing?
Uh yeah, today, just some Christmas prep. I gave the old espresso machine a deep clean.
Ooh,
Yeah. And
I still haven't gotten my espresso machine.
I assumed not because we haven't talked about it, but yeah.
So a quick update
Mhm.
there, right? So a few shows ago, we talked about my espresso machine pre-order.
Mhm.
And friend of the show, Eric Darling, also ordered one, but I think he ordered one before me.
Okay.
And he got the email saying like, "Hey, you owe us more money," which I think means his is on the way.
Okay.
I haven't gotten that email yet, and
Okay.
I have been checking my email a lot, so I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know where mine is. So how did you give it a deep clean? Like just hot water, vinegar, descale it?
I just mostly just kind of taking apart the top part of the grinder, cleaning out all the old grounds and stuff. There's some Breville sells these wonderful little cleaning tablets. You kind of put it in there instead of espresso and run it through. Same thing for the steam one. There's some like detergent that you can run through it. So yeah.
Do you have to descale an espresso machine like you do a coffee maker?
You would, but I have very soft water.
But
Very soft water.
I thought that regardless of your water
Only if you have like minerals in
hardness,
it. Yeah.
there's all kinds of minerals in there.
No. I mean, maybe after a few years, but no.
Okay.
I'm pretty much scale free. So
And do you use filtered water in your espresso machine?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
Nice.
Mhm.
Nice. So how long did that take you?
Longer than it should, because I kind of like took everything apart. Everything that I could wash, I hand washed, and I kind of waited for that to dry to put it back together. So it was a few hours, really. Yeah.
Now, how much do you actually have to take apart? Because yours doesn't have yours doesn't have a grinder, right? Or
It
does
does. Yeah.
Okay, so do you have to like take that apart and clean those guys out?
That's
And
that was most of the work. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
One of the burrs is removable, but the other one's not. So like what what I do, and it makes a horrible mess. Is like like those little like air puffers you use to like clean up like the inside of like a DSR, whatever, the fancy cameras.
Yeah.
Those things. I use that, and I like, because like you get all the extra beans out, and you kind of remove the top burr, right? So there's two pieces. There's a burr on the top and a burr on the bottom. Well, the burr on the bottom is permanently attached, or at least more attached than I feel like dealing with. So I take this little like air puffer, and I just use it to like get out all of the nasty little crumbs and stuff, and it just makes a horrible mess. But then I just sweep it all up, and it works pretty well. So yeah.
Well, I was going to assume that like high pressure air in some capacity is probably the best way to get that shit out.
It is. Yeah, and this is nice because you can point it directly where you want, give it a nice squeeze. Yeah.
So where does all the mess go?
In phase 1, wherever it wants.
Phase 1.
In phase 2, I have like little handheld vacuum that I use to sweep it all up. So
Ooh, okay. So listen. I need to know
Mhm.
what sort of little handheld vacuum we're talking about here.
So in my kitchen, I have a combination Shark robot vacuum that has like essentially like, when I was a kid, we called them dustbusters attached to it.
Right.
So
Hmm.
I just use one of those and it works pretty well as long as you keep the filter clean. So
So when I was
Mhm.
younger, my mom had a little attachment for our vacuum cleaner, and in our house, we didn't use upright vacuums. We used the vacuums that had like the beater bar and then like the separate unit, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like these all. It
Like
wasn't like the all
a
in one
canister
things.
vacuum, right? Is that what they're called? No.
No. How do I describe this? Vacuum. Is it detached vacuum? Detached. I'm just looking for a picture. Nope, that's pictures of ears.
Okay.
Uh,
Ugh.
I don't know. I don't know the right word for it, but basically, like the part where the motor was and the actual thing that makes the thing suck was on wheels, and there was a hose that ran from that to the wand, and then that ran down to like the beater bar. Versus like, we have an upright vacuum, right? It's
Mhm.
a Shark that has a canister. Um, it's all one piece, I guess to say. And I think the advantage of that is it's a little easier to maneuver the beater bar, like the actual thing that's good at like, cleaning carpets versus having to, move something heavy. Because like, when I was growing up, my grandparents had like a vacuum that I think was from the 50s, and it was like made out of iron, and it had
Really
like
heavy. Yeah.
it basically looked like it had like a bag that was like checkered. Okay, almost looked like bagpipes, and it was so heavy. And I remember that every time I had to sweep at my grandparents' house, that thing was heavy as fuck. Anyway, I think there was a period of time where those particular type of vacuums that my parents had were really popular. But I think now most people buy like,
Yeah.
Dysons and Sharks and things that are like that. But anyway, we had an attachment that went onto the hose that basically stepped down to like a very, very, very small vacuum.
Hmm.
And we used to use that to clean like our keyboards
Okay.
and stuff like that. And I have been looking for like a very, very small vacuum to clean my keyboards and like other stuff in the house. But I don't even know if they make such things anymore. Like a quick little trip over to Beesbo's place. If I go there and type in like keyboard vacuum, I think all we see now is compressed air,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Keyboard vacuum. Yeah, I
Or
mean
like,
these aren't
yeah. Yeah.
anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
they almost look like little hair dryers, right? This looked nothing like that. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Well, you got all that
Mhm.
done, and like, does it make like a big difference in your espresso experience?
No, I just feel like I should clean it every once in a while.
Okay. I mean,
You get,
that's
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah,
That's good. Good of
yeah.
you.
Oh.
All right. So topics for tonight.
Mhm.
So real quick, we have a deadline of next
Mhm.
Thursday for our big Christmas challenge.
Mhm.
How close are you to getting this done?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I find myself at a particular crossroads here.
Okay.
So I know
Mm.
the type of game that I want to buy you.
Okay.
And there are games of this type that I want to buy for you
Mhm.
that are Steam Deck verified or compatible or
Ooh.
whatever the
Okay.
right word is.
Okay.
Um, but I'm very reluctant to do it.
Just do it.
No, man. Like our friendship is gonna be different after that. Like I don't know, man. Like I don't know if
Okay.
I can do it.
Okay.
I don't know if I can do it to you. I mean, I still want to find you like a quote unquote bad game,
Mhm.
but I don't know if I can go with my original strategy. Like, have you given this any thought at all yet?
I have started looking, but I have not. I have not picked. So yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, more to come on which our next scheduled podcast recording will tell the tale.
Yeah, I haven't spent enough time as I should be because of a topic that will come up later in the show.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
Mhm.
So before we get actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna call an audible here. So let's move this to the end.
Okay.
So I want to talk about where I went this week.
Okay. Where did you go, Drew?
Yeah, so at the very, very last minute, I had to travel for work this week.
Okay.
Of course, we talked about this last time. I have some like other personal travel coming up in the very near
Hmm.
future, but this was a last minute work trip that I, was basically like said, hey, can you make this work? And my boss and the organization I work for, if I had said, you know what, I have a lot going on, I really can't do it, they would have completely understood. But I was like, you know what, I really feel like I should do this, so I had to go to Washington D.C. at the last minute.
Ooh.
Now, my secret sin, my secret confession here is I have never, prior to this trip, ever been to Washington D.C.
Really?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Going there in like, I know that everybody sort of goes there like in eighth grade or high school or something like that. I think most people do that. My school never did that where I grew up.
Hmm.
So I'm
Okay.
just curious, like, and like, look, I was there. It was a complete whirlwind trip. I got there on a Tuesday, literally worked all afternoon in my hotel room, met one of my coworkers for dinner, and sort of strategized for the meeting that we had the next day. Did the meeting the next day, took phone calls from the road, took phone calls from the airport, flew home. I was back at my house by like 8. So it was a complete whirlwind tour. I saw very little of downtown DC, although I did stay in downtown DC, but it made me want to go back.
There's so, I mean, just ignore the fact that, like, yeah, there's like, all the government stuff, but they have so many great museums there.
So
So many.
so
Oh,
that's what I wanted to ask you. And I guess this would be an open question to the listeners too, for like the 6 listeners that we have. Is like, it made me real, and like, and to be fair, Mandy and I have talked about going to DC forever. It's just that we can't seem to work out the timing to actually make this work. And it's probably just one of those things where we just need to book it and do it. But if I were to go back and spend 2 full days in
okay.
Washington DC, like what would you recommend?
I mean, I would prioritize like the Smithsonian uh
Okay.
museums, like the uh Air and Space Museum, especially for, I don't know. I mean, I know you don't like being in airplanes, but you like virtually
I like
flying
the
them.
idea of airplanes.
Yeah, so the Air and Space Museum is just amazing. The like the history of museums. I mean, you probably skip like, if unless you're really into art. I think they have like, yeah, American Art Museum. Uh, there's some really good yeah, there's some really good stuff there. I'd also recommend the oh, what do they call it? It's like the Holocaust Memorial
Yeah,
or
Holocaust
museum.
Museum, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is intense. That is really intense. I recommend that as well. Uh yeah, it's good. And there's, then, if you have time, you can always do the Yay America stuff, like, but
I have like no desire to see the White House.
and often, like, from what I've heard, like, it's often just closed
Okay.
because they don't want people in there. But yeah, I did the White House tour, and yeah, meh. I'd rather have spent more time like in the Air and Space Museum. Air and Space Museum is real good, real good.
So, but what about like monuments?
I mean, like I said, I would prioritize the museums and stuff, and if you have other time, see the monuments. Like the Lincoln Memorial is bigger than you think it is. You know, the same thing for like the Washington Memorial and stuff. But like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's fine to see that stuff. I just think the museums are the the key attraction there, the draw. But you do you.
Yeah, so the two that were sort of recommended to me. The first one was, apparently there is like a spy museum.
Really?
Yeah, that was recommended to me as just because of the area that I was staying in when I was there. It was sort of recommended to me by a friend who knew where I was staying, because I sort of I stayed on the northeast side of town, like off of K Street, like Massachusetts Ave and things like that, if you want to look it up. But like, apparently the Spy Museum was up that way. And that was sort of recommended to me as like
Hmm.
a cool sort of thing to do. The other one that was recommended to me was the Vietnam Memorial.
Yeah, I was just going to add that. Yeah, that's worth seeing. Yeah.
Yeah, which is right by the Washington Monuments. I guess
Mhm.
you get like a little bang for your buck there. Now I did see something very interesting where
Okay.
I was staying, and I'm gonna try to pull it up here. I wanna see if you know what this is.
Okay.
Washington D.C. map. Hold on. I'm gonna just I'm just gonna pull this up here real quick. Okay, so there's the White House. Uh, oh man, I'm really bad at this. What was that noise?
That was me very loudly putting my glass down on my coaster.
Okay, it sounded yeah,
Mhm.
it sounded a
Mhm.
little rough.
Hear that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I'll make sure you're okay. I didn't know if somebody was
Mhm.
breaking in or
No,
not.
no, no, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Is it this? Actually here, there's an easier way to do this, Drew. Marriott Marquis. Yeah, okay. Okay, I was close. Okay. So, this caught me completely off guard. I want you to look up the Apple Carnegie Library.
Apple Carnegie Library.
So apparently it's an Apple store in an old library.
Okay. Okay.
Um
I would go see an Apple store. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was staying at a hotel.
Interesting.
I was staying at a hotel near where this was. And it it just like at first I thought, "Oh, that looks like that's a fancy building where lawyers go." And then it was like cuz I just assume
well,
everything is
in a
lawyers.
way,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
But it just looks so out of place, and it's on this beautiful piece of property. But I guess they have other like stuff there. Like I saw something where it was like, yeah, they had something else, like some kind of Washington experience or something there. I wish I would have taken a picture of it, but it was dark out. But this, I was like, science, poetry, history. It says on top.
Huh.
So I guess the question is, this used to be an actual library that is now an Apple store, and I can't think of anything that is more late stage capitalism than that.
Oh.
But yeah, that was wild. So I was actually staying like right near there. So I just
Interesting.
I found that very interesting, and I wish I could have gone in, but it was like I said, it was dark and it was late. But anyway, that was like that's the thing that I saw in Washington. Okay, so any
Interesting.
other recommendations then?
No, no, but you got plenty to do. You'll be jam packed. You jam packed. You'll be. It's an abundance of activities.
There's and the Yay America stuff as you said it. Now,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
I guess where like have you ever like gone any place good to eat there or done things that weren't
I don't remember the food that I
okay?
ate.
When's the last
I
time you were
just don't.
there? Don't say eighth
Was it,
grade.
no, it was before the kids were born.
Okay.
Jennifer and I went before we had kids. Like I had to travel somewhere close for work, and then she came up with me,
Aw.
and we took the train into Washington D.C.
Aw. With
Yeah.
Joe Brandon.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then I did go. I did with my parents once, and I'm with the middle school. I did that whole middle school thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, yeah, it's good. I've been wanting to go back. My daughter's going this spring with her 8th grade class, but
Ooh, you got a
one
chaperone?
no,
Okay,
no,
I'm just asking.
no, she doesn't want that. I don't want that.
Okay,
No,
all right.
no.
Okay. Okay.
But I've been wanting to go back because like it's not that. It's I mean I don't like driving, but it's not that long of a drive.
So that's the thing, right? I think it's like a 6-hour drive.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not terrible. You sort of go
Mhm.
down through like West Virginia to Virginia to DC. It was an hour flight.
Okay,
And
yeah.
and from Columbus, and this was kind of a pain in the ass. Like from Columbus, I mean, if you want to fly on United, you can get the Dulles direct. If you want to fly on American, you can get the Reagan direct. And I think Southwest also has some direct flights. Otherwise, you can fly to Baltimore and then it's like an hour drive. Because and it's not because of distance, it's just because of traffic. So I flew direct to Dulles from there. And it was a very pleasant 1 hour flight. It was not bad, except on the way back it was very, very bumpy. And I didn't like that. Okay. Maybe we'll plan it. Maybe me and you go to Washington.
I love that. I
Oh,
love.
then we can go to that Apple store.
Yeah, I'd go.
All
Yeah.
right, I'm just gonna
Mhm.
pencil that down as an
Okay.
idea.
Okay. Yeah.
That would
Just let
be
me know.
that would be fun.
I'll put the time off request right now. I'll
Yeah,
go.
Mandy would be so pissed if I
She'd
put
come
that.
too.
Uh, all
Oh.
right. So let's get into some other topics tonight. Might be a quick night.
Mhm.
Depends on how this one goes. But
Okay.
you have a last minute game of the year. I thought you had
Yes.
already told me your game of the year.
Okay. So, like last episode last week, you talked about your game of the year, Dave the
Yeah,
Diver,
so good.
uh, which I have purchased and I have started playing. It's fine.
Yep.
Uh, uh, but kind of like out of the blue at the Video Game Awards, they announced a free DLC for God of War Ragnarok called God of War Valhalla.
Okay.
And I'm here to tell you, Drew, it is. They could have easily charged $40 for this DLC. They could have just done
Really?
it, and I would have paid for it and not even batted an eye. It is fantastic.
So okay,
Mm-hmm.
we can enter spoiler zone if we want here, but from what I understand,
Mm-hmm.
the first God of War for PlayStation 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
That took place in like the
Norse.
Norse mythology. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
You do stuff
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the game ends on a kind of a cliffhanger,
Mm-hmm.
and then the game picks back up in God of War Ragnarok, which
Yes.
like Ragnarok is happening.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes. You cause. Yeah.
yeah.
You go to war against the Aesir gods, or
Yeah.
there's yeah. Yes. Yes.
And your boy, the boy is
Mm-hmm.
older,
Mm-hmm.
and he's
Yep.
better.
Yeah.
And I've seen video game clips of it because like the boss fights apparently are very epic.
They are. They are.
Yeah.
They are.
So
It's
I
very good.
guess like what did they add to this plot wise then? Because
Okay.
I thought
So
everything was resolved.
well, so this follows. I don't want to spoil things too much, but basically, like, uh, this does pick up Kratos' story after God of War Ragnarok. Uh, he gets an invitation to go to Valhalla. To kind of the premise is he's been given essentially he's been given the opportunity to be the new God of War of the Norse gods.
Okay.
Okay, right. And he's working through that. And he works through that the best way he knows how, by punching dudes in the face.
Right.
So it is technically a rogue light, right? So it's, you do
Interesting.
run. There is like in between run progression. But what is really interesting is they pull a lot of things from the original, like PS2, PS3 era God of War games. The Grease stuff. So there's enemies, there's callbacks, there's just all kinds of wonderful greasy goodness coming back into it. And it is, as someone who has enjoyed those games in the past, likes the new series, it's very interesting to see how they're tying those together, and to see some of those, like a Minotaur and a Cyclops, like it's just like to see those in the new modern God of War franchise it hits all the great. It's a great game beside itself, and it also hits all of those nostalgia notes that I really do appreciate. And of course, the combat is really good. The the progression system is interesting. You're constantly getting better. Even when you have a bad run, there's still like it reminds me of Hades in that way. Is even when you f up, there's always like a little bit of improvement or a little bit of story you get, and then you jump back in and go. It is really good. For those of you who have played God of War Ragnarok, I would definitely make sure you play the other God of War games before you play this. This is definitely a continuation of the story. But it is, I'm here to say it's really good, and it's free. It's free. They just gave it away. And I've been having so much fun playing it. I think I'm getting close to the end. It's getting pretty tough, but I just got to get good. And yeah, it feels good when you have a good run and you kind of get through things and you get a little bit more of the story. And yeah, so good.
So let me ask you then. So I mean, how many hours do you have into this DLC then?
probably like 20, maybe
That's
12,
pretty
15.
good for some
Yeah.
free DLC.
Yeah. And it probably depends on, like, imagine if you were a better player than me, because it took me like a good like 4 hours before I kind of got my legs underneath me. I remembered how all the details of the combat, because like it doesn't like there's no like you haven't played this game in a while. Here's a tutorial. It's basically like no, uh, figure it out. Good luck.
Okay,
Mm,
so then I guess here's my question, right? Because you were very, very uh sure of yourself when you said that Spider-Man 2 really lived up to the hype and was a good game.
yeah.
So I guess what about this puts this over the top for you?
So the combat of God of War, the recent, the reboot, the combat is just so good. Uh, you know, it's so simple yet like intricate. You really get into it. And then to have that, to have something that is clearly, the main gameplay is, these little tight combat arenas where you have to kill a bunch of dudes and then go on to the next thing. But the way they integrate the story, all the callbacks to like the Grease stuff, uh, you know, basically going through all of, Kratos's mistakes and seeing him reflect on those, as a changed, more wiser person, like a father. It's really interesting, like, because I mean that yes, there are callbacks to the person, or technically God Kratos was in the original stuff, but the way they really dive into it in Valhalla is really rewarding for somebody who has enjoyed the franchise for so long. It's really, it's just so well done. The story is so good. The combat is good. The graphics look freaking amazing. Uh, it's just everything is just so perfect, and the fact that it came out of nowhere and it was free out of nowhere. They're like, hey, we're gonna do this thing and it's out next week. Here you go play. Uh, yeah, it's I'm really impressed with what they did, and it's always fun to have like a franchise that you're like come out and say, oh yeah, here's a new bit of it, surprise, it's out next week. Not like like most games, like hey, like GTA 6, this is going to come out in 4 years.
I mean,
You're lucky.
unless you're on PC.
Right, which I mean that's what they've done like what for the past like
Yeah.
2 or 3 games.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah, just to have it come out and say, hey, it's next week. It was just
Out
so
of nowhere.
good. Out of nowhere. It's wonderful.
You
It's
you
wonderful.
knew who else has been doing that recently?
Hmm.
The fine people behind Baldur's Gate.
Oh yeah,
They
just
keep
more and
they
more
just
content.
keep
Yeah.
adding shit to that game.
Yeah, and they said they're gonna like just have like, yeah, we're gonna do more races and like everything. So yeah,
Well,
I need to play that still.
Yeah, you brought up an interesting point though, because you said that like this is a rogue light or roguelike, meaning that the conceit of that is that it is designed to be replayable, right? So it's like it from an asset perspective, maybe they didn't add as much in terms of levels or things, but
Yeah,
the fact that they can have you go through it again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you get to the end and you fight the boss at the end, and like it unlocks a little bit more story, and you have to keep doing that, and it keeps getting harder. And like there's goals you can achieve, and as you get stuff, you unlock these currencies that you can do to improve yourself and kind of change the environment a bit. And like it's like a typical like roguelike game where there's permanent currency and there's currencies you do that improve just for that run. And then as you get through things like there's different chests, and you have choices about what kind of perk you're going to take. So you have like a build that you do, and like mechanically it reminds me the most of like the whole thing kind of reminds me of Hades, right? Because it's the way the story interweaves with the gameplay, it's you can definitely tell that they drew their inspiration from that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really really good, and I was here to say like, hey, if you're on the fence, well, the God of War series are just great. I think it's a reason enough to buy a PlayStation, just to play. I mean, I would buy a PlayStation 5, of course, just to play those games because they are top notch games. Get you right in the feels. But
well, so here's the deal, right? Like Right now I could buy God of War for my computer for $25.
You could,
I could do
yes.
that.
Hmm.
I just wonder though, like I haven't played any of the God of War games.
I think that's fine. Like, you know the general premise, right? Like,
I mean, apparently this guy likes to punch people.
he does. In the earlier games, Kratos is a very, very angry person getting his revenge on the Greek gods. A lot of murder, a lot of poor decisions. You know, he kills Ares, becomes the god of war. Stuff like that. Kills his dad, Zeus. I mean, spoiler alert. He gets all kind of murdery, and then he leaves and goes to the Norse pantheon and has a kid, and there you go. That's all you need to know.
But
Mm-hmm.
and here's my reluctance with this. Could I enjoy this game not having enjoyed the other God of War games?
Absolutely. Yes, I think so. Yes,
but like, there's
yes.
not going to be a ton of callbacks or stuff that you talk about in
No.
this DLC. That's
I
gonna be
mean,
like,
there are things, but you could, if you didn't. I think it's one of those things where if you don't understand or don't have the reference of the old games, you're still going to enjoy Valhalla. You're still going to go through these things as he kind of battles with his past. Because they do explain it. There's Kratos has a companion that he talks to throughout the game ahead. But if you have played them, I think it's just a little bit more special to see how they're really respecting that older material and kind of bringing it all together. Yeah, it's still a great game if you haven't played them. It becomes a whole nother experience if you have.
gotcha.
But I would still highly recommend them, especially if you can get the original God of War for cheap and you just want to play it. Though I am not sure how. I have a hard time imagining how these like very controller focused games map to mouse and keyboard.
Well,
But,
I mean, look,
yeah.
I have Xbox controllers, right?
Okay, there you go.
So for games like that, I have no problem firing up the controller
Yeah.
for that. That's not a big deal. And it looks like this is also Steam Deck verified.
It is, yes, yeah.
So that gives me a little more ammunition maybe to try that out. Okay, well,
it's good. Mhm.
good for you, buddy. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. And
It's so good. It's so good.
Are they going to make more of these God of War games?
I think so, but I mean, they probably made enough money these last two to justify it. So I hope so. Santa Monica Studio, they make good video games. So yeah.
All right. So changing gears drastically here.
Okay.
Paul, a while back we did candy rankings.
Yes, we did.
We did. And we largely agreed on a lot of things.
Okay.
Now I want you to go back in your memory banks for a little bit. And if you were going to have a little sour treat, what would you have?
Okay. I mean, Sour Patch Kids.
Sour Patch Kids is a great answer.
Yeah.
Great answer.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm here to tell you that I might have found something that has supplanted Sour Patch Kids for me.
Okay.
Have you ever had Sour Punch?
I don't believe I have.
Okay.
Sourpunch.com. Okay.
What is Sour Punch? So Sour Punch, they come in a couple different shapes and sizes. They are mostly a tuber. Tubular
Little tubby boy.
Yeah, little tubby boys. And as the name implies, they are Sour Patch Kids adjacent. In that they are like a gummy type substance with soury goodness and sugar sprinkled on top. So let's just say that I came into contact with some Sour Punch over the past few days.
Okay.
And it's really, really freaking good. However, now I have come to figure out, how can I get more of this Sour Punch? So here's the problem, right? If you're on sourpunch.com and you look at that hero image, just describe what you're seeing in there.
So there's I love their little mascots, right?
Yeah.
They have little round like
Yeah.
cartoon
It, th-
faces
those
with
those
yeah,
those
the
those
sour.
faces are either stifling a fart or eating something sour.
Maybe both.
Maybe both.
But then it advertises the different forms that it comes in. There are twists, bites, and straws. Uh, Dude, I could fuck with some rainbow straws.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Now
So
have you not had this?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Huh,
So
I'm
so
gonna have to
I
look.
got this in the worst possible delivery mechanism.
Okay.
So on the right-hand side, it says Sour Punch Twist, right? That in that hero
Uh-huh.
image. And it's a big old tin of
Big ol-
individually wrapped Sour Punches.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Is it
Because
okay?
I just like the fact that I have to tear something and peel something
Oh.
sticky out of plastic to get my fix is the
Mm.
absolute worst way to eat this candy.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
But in terms of purchasing in bulk, because I want to purchase this by the kilogram. Like I need this. I need this
Okay.
real bad.
Okay.
Like that is the best delivery option I have. The straws are kind of like other sour straws that you would get somewhere else, where you get like a, like a little flat pack, with a bunch of these little straws in them, and they don't last nearly as long. Now, the one that I'm after here is the Sour Punch Bites,
Yeah.
because that looks like, number one, surface area wise, they're more rigatoni than spaghetti.
Oh. Okay.
Um,
They're available at my local Meijer, and I'm going grocery shopping tomorrow.
are you kidding me? Where to
Oh,
buy?
yeah. So there's a where to buy thing, and
I
it.
can't go to Myers.
Why can't you go to Meijer?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I can't go back to Myers. So hold on. Sour
There's
Punch.
also says that Kroger and Giant Eagle and Target have them, and CVS Pharmacy.
I have never seen them. So I'm on Meijer.com right now, and when I type Sour Punch, there's Sour Punch Arctic Straws tray, 3.2 ounce for $1, which is not nearly enough Sour
Oh,
Punch to
and
sate my dark passenger. And then
according to this website, my Meijer has the bites.
so Sour Punch Berry Mix Bites I see on here. Which one does your Myers have?
It's sorted flavors bites.
Oh yeah, Sour Punch
Yeah.
Bites assorted flavors, 9
Mhm.
ounce.
Yes, 9 ounce.
And then there's Sour Punch Canes, which, first of all, can we just all agree that candy canes are just not good?
No, I fucking love candy canes.
No,
I've,
they
I've
get
already,
too
I've already,
sticky.
I've already
No.
bought some. I love them. I love them.
I don't care if you're a mint or peppermint or Starburst flavor candy canes. Like, there's just no good way to eat a candy cane. Everything gets sticky. No, I'm out on candy canes.
Now I want a candy cane. I'm gonna have a candy cane as soon as we hang up.
Okay.
Mm.
All right.
Dude, so the Giant Eagle in Grove City has like all the different flavors of bites. All of them.
Okay.
All of them.
Okay. Hold. Oh. Giant Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
You said Grove City?
Yeah, Stringtown Road, baby.
Okay, hold on. Let me. Can I change my location? Select a store. Stringtown Road. That's not a zip code. What's that zip code?
My zip code is 43. Well, the zip code for Grove City is 43123.
Oh wow. Stringtown Road, Giant Eagle. Make my store. Okay, so now I'm gonna type Sour Punch. Oh wow. Okay, I don't know how Pringles ends up in that search result. Sour Punch candies, assorted flavors, 9 ounce, 5 ounce. First of all, don't even talk to me if we're not in the 9 ounce size. So they have the assorted flavors. They also have tropical blends.
Bites. Yeah.
I don't think I'm here for tropical. I just want the classics. There's basically 3 flavors in the classics, right? So strawberry, green apple, blue raspberry.
Okay.
I'm usually not a green apple guy, but these were really good.
Now take a step back. What makes these better than Sour Patch Kids?
I don't know. So okay, let me clarify. Let me clarify that statement.
Okay.
I don't know that they're better than Sour Patch Kids.
Okay.
But the last couple times that I have had a craving for a sour candy, nothing scratches that itch quite like a Sour Patch Kid.
Yeah. Okay.
But I had this and I felt satisfied.
Mm.
I don't know if that's a compliment to these or not. It's just that these have a different flavor. Like the Sour Patch. Here's the thing I think about Sour Patch Kids. I think that the sour and sweetness of a Sour Patch Kid is the main sensation you get when eating a Sour Patch Kids in bulk. Because first of all, no one eats just one Sour Patch Kid.
True. Yep.
These have more flavor.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like those notes of strawberry, green apple, and blue raspberry, those come through. I'm not going to say that all Sour Patch Kids taste the same.
They all pretty much.
They all kind of
citric
do.
acid.
They all kind of do, right?
Yeah.
These are not quite as sour, so you get some of that little fruit flavor to come through, but it still kicks a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds delightful.
Yeah. So I'm on Bezos's place, and
Okay.
I'm trying to find a volume of these things.
Okay.
And
Like how much you can buy at once.
Right. So Sour Punch Bites. Let's see here.
Now, is this like, I don't know if you have a subscription to one of the like bulk, like big bulk stores like Costco or the other one. I don't either. But I wonder if they would have
okay,
like a 5-gallon tub. A 5-gallon bucket.
So, but here's the thing though, right? Like I go there. Okay. So if I go to Costco and I type in Sour Punch, first of all, for $16.99, they have Sour Punch Twist, but they're all individually wrapped.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's a lot. There's 180 of them in there, but they're individually wrapped.
I mean, Bezos will sell you what, a 12-pack of the 9-ounce bags. That's a lot of punch.
A 12-pack of the 9-ounce bags?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Do you need a link?
5-ounce pack of 12 for $22. That seems excessive.
Well, the one I'm looking at is 34. 83 if you subscribe and save.
So
it's
wait,
36,
is it a 9-ounce pack of 12 or 9 ounce and it has 12?
Oh, there's 12 packs of 9-ounce bags.
Oh, that is a lot of Sour Punch. That's a lot of Sour Punch.
That's a lot. Mm-hmm.
And this is cherry, strawberry, watermelon, and raspberry favorite red flavors.
The blue, you get some blue in there.
No, I want the mix. Sour Punch Bites assorted flavors. Oh, it even comes with a little clip.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it comes with a little kit. It says "Make your day" on it. Make your day.
How
so I could get 5 bags. Sour Punch Kids. Sour Punch Kids. Sour Punch Bites assorted flavors, sweet bites, tropical blends, rad reds, blue raspberry, pack of 5. So that comes out to $6 a bag. No, that seems like that's way too much. Way too much. $6 a bag for these?
I have typically found that candy prices on Amazon are high.
Yeah, that seems, and it's not going to arrive after Christmas. That's even worse. Yeah, maybe I need to go to Stringtown Road, but then I would have to go to Meijer. I don't want to go to Meijer.
There's got to be a Meijer closer.
I can't go to Meijer.
Not even if you wear a disguise.
No, I can't. Listen to me. I just believe me when I say I cannot go to Meijer.
Okay. I want to ask, but I'm not gonna.
I'm not gonna. I can't talk about it. I can't go to Meijer.
Is your picture up somewhere?
I don't know. I can't go to Meijer.
Okay. Fair enough. Is it just one particular Meijer?
No,
or the whole brand?
Well, it might be one particular Meijer, but I'm never going back to another Meijer.
Okay. Oh.
Okay. So we can't. So you said Giant Eagle has them.
Mm-hmm.
Where? You said Target also has them.
Yeah. All I did, Drew, was I went to the Sour Punch website.
I get it.
And there's a where to buy thing right on there. Where to buy.
Pick up. Shop in store.
And it showed me all the places close to my zip code.
So Sour Punch Bites, I could get the bags. Those don't look like they have any sugar on them. So they're $3.59 a bag at the Target near me.
Okay. Yeah, you should go to Target.
I might go to Target. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna have, so when we have our big game day, we're gonna have some Sour Punch. We're gonna get sugar all over my game table, all over my board games. It's gonna be great.
Awesome.
All right. Just wanted to float that by you.
Okay. I'm gonna get some tomorrow. When I
Okay.
go to the store, I'm gonna buy some.
And if you hate them, you can blame me.
I won't think I will. I like candy,
It's
Drew.
it's
So
pretty hard to fuck this up.
like
But
yeah.
I'll let you decide for yourself sort of where they fall on the scale of like,
Okay.
Sour Patch Kids versus the field.
Okay. Maybe I'll buy Sour Patch Kids and Sour Punch,
Ooh.
and I could do a comparison.
Could. Yeah, but if you eat the Sour Patch Kids first, like your palate is fucked. Like you're gonna have to like eat some like ginger or something to cleanse your palate. Or, you're gonna have to like make sure you.
You're right. Yeah. And plus, like if I eat too many, then I get like sores in my mouth. That's no. You ever do that?
Yeah.
Eat so much sour candy?
Have I ever done that? Of course, everybody's done that.
Oh yeah.
All right. Last topic for the night. We're winding down for the year, and I think we will probably have at least one more recording for 2023 before we roll into 2024. Depends if we record the week after Christmas or not.
Right.
But I wanted to take a minute and see if you had anything in 2023 happen, either people, places, things, events, whatever, that you feel a special gratitude for.
Oh, geez, I should have done homework. Well, if you're ready to go, why don't you go and I'll think about it.
Well, so I'm the one that put this on the doc. But I wanted this to kind of like be like a freewheeling exercise where we kind of just like spitball some things. There are things that I am thankful for every year. I mean, I'm obviously very thankful for all of the shit that Mandy puts up with, right? I think, but here's the thing though, and Mandy, if you're listening, don't take this the wrong way. It's just that's an easy answer, right? Because our significant others, we're thankful for each other, right? I think that's how most couples would sort of identify themselves. So I just think that's an easy, like low hanging fruit answer. I'm talking about things like specific to 2023 that you would be thankful for.
Man. I mean, yeah, like my brain just goes like my children, but like that's like the spouse answer. Like, yeah, of course I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
My kids are great.
But like, okay, so I I'm not going to accept kids as an answer, but was there something your kids did in particular this year that you were like super thankful for or proud of or something like that?
Well, I mean, yeah, definitely there's a few things that come to mind. I don't know whether your high school did this, but a lot of high schools offer like, hey, if you want to kind of get a leg up, you can take some college classes.
Yeah.
As part of your high school classes. Well, Zachary's doing that this year. He's doing really well. He had to apply and get accepted for all that stuff. And he did. He also got accepted into National Honor Society this year. And he made third chair wind ensemble, which is a pretty spectacular feat for him. And he's blowing that horn so good, Drew.
Keep blowing.
So I'm proud of those moments. And my daughter, even though like she hasn't had anything quite that. Like the milestones that Zachary has, being in high school, she is, she is a very strong, confident woman. Sometimes I think I love my daughter very much, but I also think she sometimes gets the worst personality traits from me and my wife. A nice little cross section of that. So can be a little sarcastic and sassy at times. But she's also doing extremely well in school. She also blows that horn so good. So yeah, there you go. There's some specific things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, right? Like, there were a lot of like personal milestones that I sort of hit this year. There were obviously some things that didn't go super great for me this year too. But in terms of things that I'm like really happy about and grateful for, I've talked about my gym a lot on this podcast. And again, I think being thankful in generic terms for that gym, because I am coming up on 10 years at that particular gym, which is going to be a big deal. But I would say that there were a few, moments this year at that gym that really changed my mindset on things and also from a pure physical fitness perspective, I feel really, really good about. I hit some really high numbers this year in terms of my strength.
Nice.
In terms of the amount of weight that I can front squat and back squat and mobility and other stuff that I've had the opportunity to work on in that gym. Like, I'm at the age where, the gains, as the kids say, they don't necessarily come, you know,
Yeah.
they don't come fast and furious, right? So like when I make some sort of achievement or I make some sort of advancement, it feels really good because I was sitting on a previous number for some of these things for a very, very long time. And, the gym I go to, they do specific programming around like, okay, we're going to start a new cycle, and by the end of this cycle, you should have a new personal best. You should have a new max. And I went through a few things the last couple of years where like I went through those things and like I didn't really get a new max, right? Like the day
Okay.
that when it came time to put up or shut up, I couldn't do it.
You shut up. Yeah.
Yep. But this year I achieved a lot. I feel much stronger this past year because of it. And I don't know if it's necessarily a mental thing or something else, but um yeah, and there's coaches in there in particular that I'm very, very thankful for. Coach Emily would be the first one. She's not a listener. She's never going to hear this, but she gave me really good cues this year on certain lifts that finally, again, almost 10 years later, just like really clicked for me and helped me achieve some of these things. The owner of the gym, Jeff, he's always so supportive and positive and is willing to push both his coaches and the members. And then, Coach Andy, Coach Jenny, obviously just, always thoughtful, always helpful, always willing to work with me. And that meant a lot to me this year. When I look back at the things I did this year, I would say that that's probably like one of the things I'm most proud of. So,
Nice. Well,
what?
congratulations.
Thanks. What else you got?
I don't know, Drew. I don't know.
I would say that I'm also really grateful for the leadership of the company that I work for.
Okay. Nice.
Like I said, I switched jobs earlier this year. I left Microsoft and I work for Databricks now. Changing jobs is always scary. But I had an opportunity to really get to know the person I report to, and he's a really good guy. His name's Ryan. I think he's genuinely a good person. He's been at Databricks for a long time, so he's sort of seen the company from its infancy to the place where it is now. He's a really easy guy. He's a really good guy to talk to, easy guy to talk to. We're about the same age, and we're considered dinosaurs in an organization like that, right? I mean, I
Yep.
say that half jokingly, but getting to know him and some other members of the team that I work with there, it's all been really positive. I can look back on that and say that I really don't have any regrets about making that change, and it's been good for me in a lot of different ways, both in terms of the type of work I do, the knowledge that I've had to do and transfer and help other people, and work on getting people to implement certain strategies and things like that. So I'm grateful for that too. This year, it's worked out really well, and I could go on and on about, again, the ones that everybody says, right? Like the family and the kids and the wife and stuff like that. And it's not to say that I'm not thankful for those things. Those are just two things that stand out in my mind this year that have gone really well. And it's because of those people in those organizations that I'm exceptionally like thankful for, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I've got one, Drew, and I think it's a little unorthodox, but I'm thankful how boring 2023 was.
Okay. Okay.
So
Speak on it.
just uneventful. In the past, we've had some ups and downs with
Some
Zachary.
unprecedented times, some would say.
Yeah, with Zachary's health, and then there was like the whole COVID thing, and it's just none of that happened this year. It was quiet, and it was predictable, and it was nice, and like everybody's healthy, and I've both, well, my wife's job is as good as any public teaching job can be
Yeah, don't get me
sometimes.
started.
And uh Yeah, it's just like nothing of note particularly happened, and that's kind of nice, just to kind of have a nice easy year, and just not have to, not a lot of worries, just I've been happy this year, happy, genuinely, honest to goodness, happy.
Wow.
And I can't say that about every year, so I'm thankful for that. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
outstanding, buddy. That's a good
Mhm.
one. That's a
Yeah.
that's a really good one. And I
Yeah.
think that's a good one to go out on. So why don't
Yeah.
we we'll wrap here, buddy, because we got more stuff coming in the next couple weeks. So what do
Oh,
you say?
I can't wait. And this is episode 222. That's all twos.
All twos.
All twos, baby.
Oops, all twos.
Oops, all twos. Hey, and you can go to doingtheirbest.com/222 to get the show notes for this episode. And you can find everything there: show notes, emails, social links, all that wonderful stuff. And hey, everybody, you know what else I'm thankful for? I'm grateful for everybody who's listening to this podcast. Thank you.